Hey guys, Breezy CPA here, your certified public accountant, back with another video. In this video, we're going to be discussing this article that I found. Goldman Sachs demands loyalty oath as Wall Street war for young talent escalates. So basically, what's happening is that Goldman Sachs, which is one of the most powerful banks on Wall Street, is now essentially demanding that their employees sign a loyalty oath every 3 months in order to stay hired with the company. So, starting soon, all the junior bankers at Goldman Sachs are going to be required to affirm their loyalty to the company, to the firm. So, every 3 months, they're going to need to sign this loyalty oath, basically saying that they are loyal to the company. So, this is not going to be based on their performance or their progress, but it's to confirm that they haven't accepted any other offers with any other companies. So this move basically is setting a very scary precedent, in my opinion, for employees in the corporate world, basically institutionalizing the recruiting loyalty check-in process. So corporations are now going to be normalizing this culture of distrust, management override and control, and basically it's going to be a type of corporate entrapment for these employees. So young people are being cornered, basically pressured into the corporate loyalty before they can even understand what they're signing up for with these job positions. So if this becomes the norm, basically the freedoms that you're going to have as an employee with these companies to explore other opportunities, to grow, to change your mind if you want to, those could just go boom, vanished out the window. They're not going to exist anymore. You're going to be trapped by these corporations with these quote unquote loyalty oaths. And basically, this is a conditioning process of these employees in order to have them stay put within these companies, to have them stay silent and basically subservient to these major corporations. So if the shifts in balance of power happen, basically the corporation is going to have power over these employees like they haven't in previous years. And basically, this is all going into the employer's favor and disadvantaging these employees that are going to be signing these quote unquote loyalty oaths. So instead of building a trustworthy, better workplace, in order to retain talent, these companies are building essentially cages in order to trap their employees into employment within the company. And this is a coercion tactic. That's essentially what it is, in order to instill fear of leaving. And the corporations are masking this as a policy. And of course, they're trying to portray it as a good thing for employees when in fact it definitely isn't. So, taking a look at this article here, Goldman Sachs demands loyalty oath as Wall Street war for young talent escalates. The race to attract and keep young talent in the financial world is getting more intense than ever. In response, major investment banks like Goldman Sachs are rolling out bold new strategies to hold on to their junior staff, with private equity firms and buyout groups actively poaching fresh analysts. Banks are under pressure to not only boost loyalty but also prevent potential conflicts of interest. And Goldman Sachs is set out to roll out a new policy requiring incoming analysts to regularly affirm their commitment to the firm. Bloomberg reported on Wednesday. Under the proposed plan, junior bankers will be asked every 3 months. So every 3 months. So imagine the type of work environment that you're in here, where every 3 months you're going to have to be signing this loyalty oath in order to confirm that they haven't accepted offers from other employers. It's a complete fear tactic that they're imposing here. The move comes in response to a growing trend of private equity firms recruiting analysts early, even before they officially start working at the bank in some cases. With these quarterly check ins, Goldman Sachs hopes to deter behind the scenes job searches and reinforce a sense of focus and loyalty among its newest hires. So they are trying to frame this as um, they're reinforcing a sense of focus and loyalty among its hires, when in fact it's an entrapment of their employees, in my opinion. Goldman Sachs is not alone in this, and that's the scary part, is if this ends up moving to other sectors and other areas such as, accounting, medicine, law, so on and so forth. If other sectors end up implementing these quote unquote loyalty oaths, what does that mean for these employees that are going into the corporate world? Goldman Sachs isn't the only firm taking steps to curb the rising tide of talent poaching. JP Morgan Chase recently told incoming graduates that accepting offers from other companies within their first 18 months on the job would lead to termination. A firm reminder of how seriously banks view early exit and the disruption that they could cause. At the same time, Apollo Management has decided not to interview or extend offers for the class of 2027, effectively hitting a pause on the early recruitment efforts. CEO Mark Rowan noted that pushing students to commit to early career paths before they've had a chance to explore their options does more harm than good. And of course, that's the case. I mean, you have these young individuals who don't have experience in the corporate world, and they're forced to essentially sign their life away because, these corporations, of course, they're going to try to suck as much out of you as possible. You're going to be working 40, 60, 80-hour work weeks. And basically, they're not allowing you to go and look for other opportunities by signing these loyalty oaths. Young analysts navigate multiple job offers, often find themselves in tricky positions, particularly when they're privy to sensitive or confidential information. So that's how these firms are trying to frame this. They're trying to say, okay, we hired this individual, they're privy to sensitive information about our company, and we don't want them going out and getting poached by other companies while having this sensitive information about our company. So we're going to make them sign these loyalty oaths. But I mean, isn't that every job? You go and you work for Target, you work for Walmart, you work for any other corporation, and then of course you're going to get inside information about that company and how that company operates. But what does that mean? Does that mean that now you can't go out and look for another job at another company because all of a sudden you know the inner workings of a different company? It's just absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. For banks, this raises serious concerns about the integrity of their deal-making process and the legal risks that could arise in confidential data that is mishandled or misused. So this basically comes down to the battle for top talent. As the competition for young talent heats up, financial institutions are being pushed to reevaluate how they attract and keep their best people. The traditional playbook for developing talent is starting to look outdated, especially with private equity firms offering enticing alternatives. In response, banks are exploring ways to stay competitive, from boosting pay and outlining career growth to improving work life balance. On the legal front, some firms are weighing stronger measures like non competitive clauses or delaying hiring agreements to protect their investment in junior staff. Still, even as they tighten policies, many recognize the value of maintaining good relationships with those who leave, particularly boomerang hires become more common. At a broader level, these growing momentum for industry-wide standards around early recruiting, with the goal of balancing ethical concerns with the natural movement of the talent. So basically, this is what it comes down to. It's a battle for talent. Of course, everyone wants to hire the best employees, but is that at the sake or the sacrifice of the individual employee themselves and the opportunities for growth that that employee could have. So, yes, that employee is talented and you want to retain that employee, but you don't do that by trapping them within the corporation or within the system with a loyalty oath. You do that by treating that employee well, paying them well, creating an environment where they want to stay within that company, not instilling fear within that employee to get them to stay within the company. Taking a look at some of these comments, nothing says wise leadership and welcome to the company than threatening the new hire into an 18 months of servitude, at which time I'm sure you'll promptly be fired and replaced with the next crop of meat so the investment MLM machine can thrive. Um, it means that they exploit their new employees, otherwise, it wouldn't be a problem. Um, these places often withhold bonuses, etc., contingent on performance goals. I'd imagine termination would automatically lead to losing these. So basically, they're just holding money hostage. I think I'd never worked for one of these places. Um, Basically here they're going into these companies. I work for fintech, and like 40% of the people who come in and out of the college job hop every 2 years to make money. Some of my friends from 6 years ago are in their third job making 50% more than me, and I'm still at job one. So that's exactly what they want to do. They want to make sure that you're not going out and exploring other opportunities, because they know that if you do and you're a talented individual and they're basically sucking all the energy out of you, all the life out of you, and not paying you well, that you will go off and find another job somewhere else. So they want to entrap you with these loyalty oaths. If you quit, you're fired. JP Morgan. If you quit, you're fired. Um, with this quarterly check in, Goldman hopes to deter the behind the scenes searches. Cults and now banks, we're going to bully and pester you into being loyal to us. So the loyalty is no longer uh, built or earned by these companies. They're trying to force loyalty upon you with these agreements that you are making with them. They will do anything but pay people a decent wage to keep them, won't they? Goldman Sachs has tried to recruit my husband every 2 years like clockwork, and each time he laughs and turns them down because their pay is a joke. So you can see here the different experiences that people are having here with these companies. It's extremely long hours, and they have to go drinking. You have to go drinking with your coworkers after work till late. Otherwise, you're not participating with your team. Then the drug abuse just to remain normal till you crash and burn from the constant pressure of not being good enough. So they keep this constant pressure on you, and using these fear tactics that they drive you into the ground. They basically work you to death so that you don't go and you search for other opportunities that may be better for you. Um, they make you feel as though your talents aren't going to be better used somewhere else, or that you fear that if you go and look for some other job, some other place, that you're going to lose your current position, and God forbid that you lose your current position because it's your salary, right? So companies love absolute one-sided loyalty. If you ever think about getting another job, you're dead for them for life. But if keeping you around isn't maximally profitable for a single second, they won't even give you the time to pack your bags before throwing you into the street. So they'll lay you off at the drop of a hat, but but you have to sign a loyalty oath. So that's exactly it. I mean, they can lay you off at any time. They're in the power position. That's why they're doing this. We can lay you off whenever we want. We'll hold on to your bonuses, any vacation time that you've accrued, so on and so forth. But you have to be loyal to us, and you have to sign this loyalty oath. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these quote unquote loyalty oaths. Do you think that this is a predecessor to having them spread to other sectors, including medicine, law, accounting. I know that for the Big Four, where I used to work, a lot of people would go there. They would work for 2 years in order to get their experience. You would work your 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week. They would run you dry there. And then you would end up leaving, but you would have that company on your resume, and you could potentially use that to get other jobs within the industry, but you didn't have to sign these loyalty oaths. And I think there's a danger here. Starting with the banking industry, that we are going to see this trickle down or funnel to other sectors and other industries as well, where potentially you might have to sign these indoctrination loyalty agreements with your employer before you even know what you're getting into. And for me personally, this is a fear tactic, and I would not want to be working for these corporations under these terms, especially considering that they are trying to suck you dry of everything that you have, your energy, your time, your resources. And what are they really giving you in return? Are they really offering you a place of progress, a place where you can learn and enjoy your experience there? Because if you're giving 80 hours a week to one of these companies, that's a big chunk of your life. Essentially, these companies become your life, because you have to give so much of your time and energy to your job and your employer. And when your employer is treating you like this, and they're essentially forcing you to stay within the corporation, I mean, is that really the type of environment that you want to be a part of? So I feel that young people deserve a workplace that earns your loyalty, not one that demands it. So you deserve to be able to grow and explore opportunities, and not be under constant surveillance and fear of repercussions and retaliation from an employer that supposedly, quote unquote, cares about you. I mean, all of these companies try to make it seem like it's a family environment, and we're just one big family here, one unit, and at the same time they can fire you at the drop of a hat. So employees, especially young graduates, they deserve to choose their career path in life and in career without this corporate entrapment over their heads, in my opinion. Like I've said before, when it comes to accounting in particular, if you're going to go and work for one of these big four corporations, use them. Don't let them use you. Go in there with the mentality that you are going to get as much out of them as possible. Don't let them drain the life out of you. So go in there, get your experience. If you want to put one of these big corporations on your resume and have it on there, that's fine. If they want to pay for some of your schooling, some of your exams, some of your preparation, make sure you utilize all those resources within the first and second year that you are there, and then get the heck out of there. Do your own thing, or find a smaller corporation, a smaller firm or company that values you as an employee and doesn't try and entrap you like these big corporations are trying to do now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like always, if you want to learn more about accounting, taxes, becoming a CPA, make sure to visit breezycpa.com. Use promo code Breezy20 to get 20% off the courses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.